Raising funding for your startup is a challenge. How much should you raise? Where do you find investors? And how do you pitch them? In this segment, How to Raise Funding for Your Startup, we'll answer those questions and more. Here are live outtakes with startup founders on how to raise funding. I hope you enjoy this episode. How do you raise $2 million in funds for your dental product? How do you make a high valuation cap more appealing to potential investors? Welcome to Investor Connect, How to Raise Funding series, the podcast that unlocks the mysteries of fundraising. In this episode, we explore the world of securing funds for a dental product with a target of $2 million. I'm your host, Halti Martin. Today's conversation delves into the complexities of raising funds, featuring insights on angel groups, high net worth individuals, and the challenges of navigating a competitive landscape. I share a fundraising process where 67% of our deal flow centers around life sciences. We talk about strategies for effective fundraising, tapping the physician advisory, in-person events, and the art of creating a fear of missing out among investors. Join me and our guests as we unravel the intricacies of securing investments, sharing valuable insights and strategies that can make all the difference. This is Investor Connect, where we bring you the keys to successful fundraising in the dynamic world of startups. Hi, Iris. Thanks for joining. Good to catch up with you. Well, I appreciate Lars making the introduction. He told me a little bit about what you guys are doing. It sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're excited. So we're off to the races and fundraising, and excited to connect with you and hear more about I did read your email and the additional information on 10 Capital. So excited to chat with you.
Sure. Well, let me tell you more about what we're doing, and then love to see what we can do to help you guys and what you're working on. So at Heart, we're running investor relations and introduction campaigns. 67% of our deal flow is life science. That's we have experience there, but it's also the current market is very good for it. Lots going on. And so we basically take your pitch deck and put a nice introductory mailer, and we send it to our network. We have 20,000. I'd say, 25 to 30% are specifically interested in life science, and another 20% are interested in life science generally. They're angels and they do different things. And so we are capturing initially interested people. We share them with you on a spreadsheet called the campaign tracker. Here's all list of all the people and what they did with it. They click the follow button, they click the pass, they click the deck, they click the website. So you kind of know what they're doing with it. And then we invite them to come out and hear you pitch in one of our 7 online events per month, and have you pitch and answer questions. And then we set up introductions for those who are expressing interest. We then start going through our angel groups and our syndicate funds. These are funds that require us to fill out applications. If you've gone through angel groups before, you may have heard of Dealum, Gust, and Spark. We're helping you fill those out. We really need your content, but we can help finish it and get it through and submit it and track it through the process and keep up with the angel groups and what they're doing. Sam does that for us, and it's a great value add. We have 1,000 physicians in our network, and we also have the ability to put together surveys and evaluation worksheets on your solution. We're having a syndicate event Wednesday where we got 3 cardiology deals pitching to find physicians for their deal. And then they plan to compensate them with some case cash, some case equity to give them incentives to fill out the application and give us the data. And we work with MD Capital to build the report, and you take that out to number one. The evaluating physicians can invest. Other physicians that didn't evaluate it can invest, and then angels can invest. And they're all looking at that report, which says, here's what I like about it, and what they're doing, and so forth. And that can be very valuable. So that's something we can do as well. And then we find after a couple of months, we've built up a good list of investors, but it's easy to get people on the list through Zoom, but it can be hard to close. And so we start doing in-person events. We hold dinners, lunches, and other things around the country. They're usually concentrated in Texas, the Bay Area, Chicago, New York, and then they're in other places around. And we, 2-3 hour event, you pitch, answer questions, and then we get about 20-25% close rate out of it. So it's a great way to close because they meet you in person. They finally get exactly what you do, and they make a decision to invest based on that. We're a monthly retainer. It's $3,000 per month for a 3-month commitment, $9,000. And then we go month to month thereafter. Some people bring us in halfway through the raise or near the end, and we can finish it. Others are just starting, and we're going to go the whole distance, which is more like 5 to 8 months in those cases. It depends on about how much you're raising. And we can help you structure the deal to try to run deadline campaigns and closings. Basically, breaking it down into rounds and tranches helps us do that. And we can coach you on how to do that. So if you haven't raised yet, we have the opportunity to get in and structure it as well. So you start getting some money in fast, and then you raise more money at a higher valuation, so you're not diluting yourself. So those are the things we do. What questions did you have for me?
Wow, you've got that down. That's impressive. You're a pitch.
Yeah, it's my third time I've done it. My 30,000th time, I think. But anyway.
That's great. That's great. Excellent. Well, it sounds great what you're doing. I don't know if Lars told you anything about like kind of where we're at with our fundraise.
He told me the high level, like what's behind you about the dental implants, but I don't know much more than that.
Okay, got it. Well, so I can share. We've raised $6 million to date through mostly angel groups and high net worth individuals. So a 4.6 million seed round, a 1.5 million, what we called a pre-A, code for bridge, whatever. They were all convertible notes. And again, mostly like angel groups and high net worth individuals. We have one small VC. We're currently raising a 2 million, we're calling Series A1. It's a 2 million round with a convertible note again. We've closed about 850K of that through angel groups and high net worth individuals. Again, I am finding that this fundraise is more challenging than previous ones, just based on, I think, just the current environment. I'm hearing from the angel groups that there's like just a lot more deal flow, a lot more competition. It's taking a lot longer to get through the angel groups. I've filled out DLM, Gust, Spark, all those. So I actually applied to CTAN, came out to Austin, pitched to CTAN, went through their diligence process. And then I just heard that they've decided to pass.
They decided to pass?
Yeah.
Okay. Did they say why or no?
Well, they gave us feedback before. They were concerned about all the outstanding notes that we have, because we have 3 series of notes that are outstanding that are coming up on maturity dates in December and February. So they said they were concerned about the outstanding notes and wanting to make sure that those extensions would be approved by our current investors without any, wonky deal term changes. And they were concerned about our valuation.
What was your valuation?
So when we went out to pitch initially, it was 18 million. And we closed, the first 800,000 with the 18 million cap in the first 2 months that we opened the round. However, we received a lot of feedback on the valuation cap and on the outstanding notes. So I now have all those note extensions approved. So the notes have been extended for another 24 months. No issue there. All the approvals are in place. And we decided to reduce the valuation cap to 12 million, just to be more in line with market rates. So I went back to CTAN just last week, and said, hey, we got all the extensions approved. We reduced our valuation cap. We heard you. We, understand the changes in the dynamics of the market. And then I have an insider who is a part of CTAN. He lives in New York, but he's part of CTAN, and he was on the due diligence team. And he just told me on Friday, he thinks it's a hard no. So they had us on pause, I guess, until we got these things, the extensions done. But I haven't heard back from them any more feedback on, what the deal was. So as you know, sometimes the angel groups are forthcoming and sometimes not. In this case, we have someone on the inside. So, and he's pretty helpful and candid. So we'll see what he says. But I am going out to New York to pitch the Mid-Atlantic Bio Angels next week. Next Tuesday, we're pitching to them. And then I'm in progress with the Berkeley Angel Network here in California, because they're current investors. So they're looking at a follow on. And then TCA, Tech Coast Angels, Orange County has also indicated interest, but I'm not in their queue yet. I think they're backed up as far as pitch slots. But we pitched to them through this Medical Mondays thing last month, and I guess they expressed interest. So the angel groups, I knew from previous rounds that they take a long time and are pretty time intensive. So I'm going out to New York next week to have a bunch of meetings with high net worth individuals, both in the dental space, and I happen to be Jewish. So there's a big Jewish community there. So I'm kind of leveraging that now. So I'm booking meetings all day, Monday and Tuesday next week, and hoping to, get some traction with high net worth individuals, which I'm hoping will be a little bit more efficient than the angel groups. But, I'm just exploring all options now. So I'm talking to you.
How many doctors and dentists do you have on your cap table?
Not a lot. We didn't really heavily pitch to dentists in our previous rounds because we didn't have much clinical data and we didn't have patents issued and didn't feel like we were ready to kind of go out into the dental community. Now we have 2 issued patents and we have a full clinical study that's been completed. We did our first in human clinical trial and have that data now completed. So now I'm going out to dentists more. Just had a pitch this morning with a dentist in Houston, actually. So I'm finding that dentists, many of them have never invested before. It's not a muscle that they've really used like a lot of people in medicine have. But some of them, a few have. And so I'm just trying to expand the network, or I've reduced the minimum value or the minimum check size to $25K. I've been told maybe I should reduce it even more and form an SPV or something to take in like 10K checks from dentists. They're small. I'm married to a dentist. That's how this whole thing started with Identical. And I know there are small business owners who are often reinvesting in their own business to build their value. And so I have found this kind of hit or miss with dentists. They love hearing what we're doing. They're super excited about it, but they're not even familiar with what a convertible note is or how investing works for the most part.
Well, that's one angle to play. If the angel groups aren't working out for you, there are some more life science specific ones, Digital Health, Meta, and Life Science Angels, and Apis, and there's this Cowtown in Fort Worth is good as well. But they take their time, and we can also go after physicians or clinicians. We're working with Angel MD. We're doing a life science syndicate event this Wednesday, and we're focused on cardiology. And at heart, we're looking to invest physicians that want to do surveys and evaluations on the deal, and we build a report for them. And then there's they also want to invest directly. I like the deal, I'll put in 25, and I don't need the advisory shares. But if you offer them advisory shares, you'll find a lot of them really come alive, and they really want to be a part of it because they want to monetize their knowledge and their network. They know it's worth something, and some of them are getting kind of squeezed by the healthcare system. And so they're looking for more sources of income because they're not, everything's in cost reduction mode, of course. So we find that to be a good place for it. And most people coming to us have 5 to 10 clinicians on their cap table already. So if you don't, then that may be the low-hanging fruit is to go back to the dentist and say, hey, we're doing this. And once you get dentist groups going on it, it's kind of like angel groups without the Procedure or without the DLM application. So you just show all the other dental groups that, the Atlanta dental group, the Dallas dental group, and so forth, they're all in. Well, then that says, well, if they're in, then I can be in too. And so it's that FOMO thing going on. We also do in-person events. That can be helpful. After all these mailings, we then send out a mailer and we build a big list of interested people. We put out a mailer we're going to be in your area soon for an in-person event. If you'd like to learn more about it, click here for yes. If you're not interested, click no. And we just take all the clicks yes, and we start talking to them about level of interest. And if you feel like there's enough, and we get 5, 10 in a room, well then and the value of that is you can get the angel FOMO thing going. If they're looking around and other people are in the deal, well then I need to be in there too, and that can help. The challenge with Zoom is we're all by ourselves. There's no FOMO going on. It's just I have no idea what people are thinking, but that's what we're trying to do is get the FOMO back growing. That's one reason why angel groups work is because you've got the FOMO thing going. But still, we're trying to do more of that with just on our own without the angel groups. And that works pretty well. We've done the in-person thing in Austin. We're now taking it to the Bay Area, New York, because that's where most of the interest lies. It's either Austin, Dallas, Bay Area, New York, or Chicago are the big concentrations right now. They just have a lot more people than other parts do. And so in-person could be a way to go as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you qualify those people as actual interested investors before they come. They actually are truly interested in potentially investing before they come to the event.
So if they click the interest button, we're reaching out and we say, hey, we want to make sure we answer your question. What questions you have about the deal? You don't have any questions? Do you really know what we're doing? The idea is you start a dialogue with them, and by the time you get there, we really are closing versus you're showing up and they're seeing it for the first time, and it's hard to close on that. So you're trying to get them down the path because we want to say, okay, in 30 days after the event we're closing, you're in or out. And one value is that just lets us move on. Some people bring us a large number of investor prospects, and we can run that on those prospects if you're of interest. Sometimes it's 200-300 that we built and we talked to, or they were in a network. Let's go run it back through. And it helps you have to put in the deck and some bullet points to remind them which deal this is. And then if there's something new that's happened since the last time we talked to them, say in the last 3 months, big sales or IP awarded or FDA achieved or something like that. That's a milestone event that says, oh, they made it to the next level. And so we could do in-person events as well around the deal. We had to build that list, or if you have a list, we can start with that right away. But once we build our list, after about 6 weeks, we're ready to go and start checking interest. Who's interested in this?
Got it. And your list of, I think you said 20,000 in your network. When you send out these emails, is it coming from, Hall Martin? Is it coming from how do you know these people? And are they going to open your email, or is it coming from me, but actually disguises you, or what is it?
So it's coming from 10 Capital. And so they usually, and they know us, they've gotten mailings before. They know what we're doing. We've been doing this since 2009. So we've been around for a while. We are a little bit new to the life science space. We started about 4 years ago. but we still have carved out a place in the seed plus Series A realm. We're not doing pre-seed or very, very early on. We're usually a bit further along, but we're not ready for the VCs. And I find that's the spot where it's really hard. You've run out of money from the initial pre-seed investor, but we haven't gotten to that clinical 1 or 2 where the rest of the corporate VCs are living. And so we're going to angel groups. Have you ever tried Keiretsu?
I've been reluctant to pay to play. Although, yeah. To be honest, I am paying some people now to help us with these New York meetings, but
if you're raising more money, like 4 or 5 million, I would say it's probably worth it. If you're only raising 2 and you're halfway through, it's probably not worth it in that case. But I've had people come to me raising $20 million, all from angels. Well, you're going to need to go to the Keiretsu to get more money, because that's just a lot. They didn't want to do the VC thing. They want to do the angel thing. That means you have to talk to every angel in the country, 3 times to get there. And they're doing that. But Keiretsu is a good source. We're actually standing up. Our network overlaps a lot with the Keiretsu network as far as investors go. I found that a third of our deals came from Keiretsu, and about 20% of our deals went to Keiretsu after us. And so we got involved with Keiretsu, and we're actually standing up the Dallas chapter now. They weren't in Texas, they are now. And we'll do Austin next, and then Houston. So we're starting to get into that mode as well.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's a steep price. Most angel groups, as you know, don't charge. Although CTAN did a little bit, but yeah, not as much as Keiretsu.
It's a different game. You get the big diligence report and all those good things that come into it. Like I say, it might be more interesting to do a physician advisory thing, get a report about what the clinicians are saying, and there's different ways to get to that. And that can turn the tide a little bit to go in and show an actual analysis that what did 20 dentists say about this deal, do a survey and compile the results. And there's different levels. Sometimes you can do very simple things. Others want the 200-page book with 60 clinicians on it. And some people want that for the FDA. They feel like they need more support to convince the FDA that it is what we say it is, and so forth. And this is kind of a third-party group saying that. So anyway, there's different things we can do in that direction if you're interested.
That's good to know. I come from a market research background at the Clorox company, so I did do a survey of 75 doctors when we first started the company. So I have. It's a very simple concept test basically. But that's, I love research. So that's good to know that's available.
Okay.
So it sounds like the investors in your network are mostly, it sounds like high net worth individuals who someone on your team personally knows. Is it that? That's a lot of people.
We know a lot of them, but not all of them. I don't know all the VCs. Like those VCs come and go every 3 years pretty fast. So it's hard to keep up with them. The family offices are easier because they're around for a lot longer. Some angels are around for a lot longer, although there are some angels that swap in and out every 3 years. They invest for a while and then they leave. Angel groups tend to be more persistent as well. They're there. I actually helped start CTAN in 2006, but one thing we do is we help the angel groups find members. So we're their new best friends. So if they like that, give them 3 more new members. I like that. We know Yaniv, we're helping him find some members. So we go up there, we say we talked. And kudos getting in there. Not everybody gets into MABA.
Yeah. I've heard, I talked to Yaniv and he did explain how extremely selective they are. So I'm excited to.
Well, we feel that every day. We get rejected by Yaniv. They only do, 8 deals a year or something like that.
Yeah.
It's
It's
not it's not high volume like
Yeah.
CTAN gets 150 applications a month and everything's got 2 zeros on it compared to Yaniv. So
Yeah. Well, we did. So Life Science Angels is one of our investors. So an LSA invested in our seed round and just did a follow-on investment in this round. So I know they have a pretty selective process as well. So anyway, we, hopefully we'll have similar success with Mava. So, okay. So it sounds like email comes from 10 Capital. Most of these people, I mean, they probably get a lot of deal flow from you, but hopefully it doesn't just go to, hopefully they open, right? And you have a good kind of response rate.
yeah, they open it and then they either click on the deck, the website, or the follow button for the most part. Not many people click on the intro button on the get-go unless they're just right on top of what they want. And then a fair number hit pass, they take themselves off the list because they're not doing this. And so we can get down to that pretty quick as well. And then next step is we have to go and start getting them warmed up. And what we look for are updates from your side, sales team, product, and fundraise. And the key with updates is it's not what's new to you, it's what's new to the investor. So you go back and figure out what have I told them so far in the deck and the mailer, which is not much, it's very skeletal. Think about all the other things going on back here and then just capture that and just feed that out every week, and it's new information because they haven't seen it before. Even if it happened 6 months ago, that's still relevant. Let's show them that because we're trying to catch them up. And so that's the key is take all your content and package it up in a way that we can just keep feeding it out. These are bullet point items, 4 or 5 that we can. And then we attach the deck and you'll get a lot of leads off of the Wednesday weekly deals because a fair number of investors, that's where they source deals to begin with. If you can give me updates, well, you're going to be on the game and it's a lot easier than looking at all the intro mailers that come out. So there's that aspect of it.
Got it. So you send out the initial blast with the deck and then they can opt in or opt out to like getting more information.
Right.
And then if they're interested, then you keep them on this weekly update list. And then at what point do I actually interact with the investor? Do they?
When you go to the events, you interact with them. When you go to angel groups, we interact with them. If we do, so some of the events we do are standard online events. Others are custom. We'll get a thought leader to come in and talk about what's going on in your space and attract more people into the deal. You don't get hundreds, you get tens out of that. And then we do what my favorite one is the investor update event. If you are currently giving a monthly or quarterly update to your current investors online 1-hour session, what we do is take our investor prospects, invite them to join. And it's just another person on the Zoom. And what you want to do is showcase the team, not just yourself, but the CTO, the CSO, and so forth. So they get a sense of who the whole group is and how strong they are. And then they want to hear questions from the audience, the investors, and most current state of things. You're giving everybody's giving a brief on what they were working on and how it's going. And so they're kind of getting the latest and greatest from you directly. And then they get that vision that if I invest, this is the group I'm going to join. And if they like what they see, well, then they're coming in. And it's easy because you're already doing this for your current investors. It's not hard to add investors on the back end. You invite an existing investor at the end to stand up and tell them your experience here and maybe answer a few questions. Yeah, I get good information rights, get the report every month. I really like it. I think the team's sharp. They're doing the right thing here. And you start to hear from other people that, it's going well. So that's one of the best ones we do because it's so easy to do because you're already doing the event anyway for your current investors.
Got it. I do a quarterly update, but it's via email. So
everybody does the email thing, but I say what you got to do is once in a while, just wrap a Zoom call around that and walk people through it and do it where we can load in, a couple of 100 investor prospects to potentially sign up to go watch it. And I've always asked, do you want to sign NDAs? But to date, nobody's ever signed an NDA. It's just, just come on in and watch it because I'm trying to get people looking at it. It's nothing that confidential in most cases. So like I say, it's pretty straightforward to do. And we're coming up with other event ideas for how you engage people, but those are the ones we start with.
Got it. Okay. Well, so it's $3,000 per month. And do you have to commit to 3 months? And in our case, we're kind of halfway through our raise. So I don't know how long it will take.
Well, it's a 3-month commitment because it's going to take us a few weeks to get the mailer together, get it out and build the list. And then we got to go through the pitch and so forth. And then they've got a diligence process. And then month 3, we're we're closing, we're running these campaigns to find out where the interest might be and trying to close. Of course, I find every month we can redo that mailer to see where new interest may lie, especially if new ones are coming in. So you just keep the cycle running if you can. And then we're doing those custom events along the way as well, like thought leaders and investor update events. And then we're now doing the in-person thing, which I find a lot of people want to get back to in person right now. So that can help.
Yeah. Got it. So I guess the whole, like, there's lots of different options here as far as like how to engage, how to get the word out, all these different types of events. So do you kind of just like work with each company to customize and figure out what the right plan is for that company, or is it all kind of cookie cutter for everybody?
Well, we do customize it based on what you are. If you're, some deals fit well the VC model, some the angel model, some the high net worth. And to the extent we can figure that out, we double down and go after that. Other cases, we don't really know. We're just going to put it out there broadly and see where the interest lies as well. So there's that aspect. And then a lot of it goes back to some people feel like we're going to do well with angel groups and others don't. So we don't have to do angel groups if we don't think it's going to work, or it did work. Let's do more of the same, because you raise money from one, you can raise more money from the others. Some people do well with the events because it shows off well in the event structure. Others, it's a very complex device that doesn't come through in a 9-minute pitch, and they feel like they'd rather do something in person. So we try to get into that format. So everybody's a little bit different. So up front is kind of the same process to build the list and get it out there. But after that, we can customize it to where you want to go.
Got it. Because your online events, are they multiple companies pitching or just one company pitching per?
Three to four in some cases. We do an AMA, there'll be 2, and we do a syndicate event, there's 3. We do a quick pitch, there's 4. If you do some of the other ones like Hot Topics, there's only 1, and you do your own custom event, it's just you. If you do an investor update event, it's just you. So you get a variety of different formats. Mm-hmm. The value of other people pitching is it can attract more investors into the room.
Yeah.
If there's just one, they don't know, I may not like it. If there's 4, okay, well, I like something in there. So,
yeah, that makes sense. Great. Well, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it, and look forward to being in touch. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks. And that's a wrap for today's deep dive into the world of fundraising on Investor Connect. I trust you found the insights on securing funds for dental products both enlightening and practical. Remember, in the fast-paced startup scene, nailing those smart valuation markers and sparking that fear of missing out can make all the difference. Before we close, let's circle back to the vast opportunities in life sciences. With a whopping 67% of our deal flow dedicated to this sector, it's an arena ripe with potential. Whether you're navigating angel groups or engaging high net worth individuals, understanding the ins and outs of investor relations as your secret weapon, a big thanks for tuning in today. Keep an eye out for future episodes where we continue to demystify fundraising intricacies. Until next time, I'm Hall T. Martin, your host on Investor Connect. Investor Connect helps investors interested in startup funding. In this podcast series, experienced investors share their experience and advice. You can learn more at investorconnect.org. Hall T. Martin is the director of Investor Connect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of Investor Connect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions.